Welcome the chosen, the anointed. Some people will trade diamonds for dust and still wonder why their hands are empty. Have you ever witnessed someone throw away something priceless, only to realize too late that they lost something they could never replace? Maybe you were that priceless gem, overlooked, unappreciated, and discarded by someone who failed to see your true worth. But here's the truth. When someone betrays a rare and irreplaceable person like you, regret doesn't just knock on their door. It moves in, unpacks its bags, and takes over their mind. Regret is a relentless shadow. It doesn't strike immediately. At first, they may feel justified, even proud of their choices. They may walk away thinking they made the right decision, believing that the new path they chose was better. But as time unfolds, reality hits. The temporary pleasure fades. The distractions wear off, and suddenly, they realize what they lost. They see you thriving, standing strong, walking in your purpose, untouched by the destruction they thought would break you. And that's when regret becomes their worst nightmare. Because now, they can do nothing about it. The Bible says in Proverbs 14:12, "There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death." People often make choices that seem smart in the moment, but lead to long-term loss. They chose comfort over growth, selfish desires over loyalty, and deception over truth. And now, the one they betrayed, the one they underestimated, is no longer within reach. But here's the real question. Why did God allow them to betray you in the first place? Why were you the one who had to endure the heartbreak, the rejection, the pain? Could it be that God was removing people from your life who were never meant to walk with you into your next season? Could it be that this betrayal was actually a divine setup for your elevation? Comment below. Have you ever been betrayed by someone who didn't see your worth? How did it change you? How did God use it for your growth? This is not just a message, it's a confirmation. If you're watching this, God is telling you that He saw everything. He heard the conversations you weren't meant to hear. He knows the tears you cried in silence. And He's about to turn that betrayal into a testimony that will silence your enemies. Stay with me, because in this message, I will reveal the truth behind their regret. The deep, undeniable realization that they lost something priceless. The pain they caused you was temporary, but their regret will last a lifetime. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your story matters. Your healing matters. And together, we will expose the truth and walk boldly into the purpose that God has set before us. Now let's get into it. They thought your kindness was a sign of weakness. They assumed your patience meant you didn't know better, that your forgiveness meant you were desperate, and that your compassion meant you could be walked over without consequence. They believed that no matter how much they took from you, your energy, your love, your support, you would always be there, waiting, willing to endure their mistreatment. But they were wrong. Kindness is not weakness. It is power. It takes strength to remain gentle in a world that rewards selfishness. It takes courage to love people who don't appreciate you, to forgive when you could retaliate, and to give, even when others only take. But every kind person has a limit. And when you finally walked away, when you stopped answering their calls, stopped showing up for them, and stopped carrying their burdens, they felt the absence of your presence like a missing heartbeat. Now they look around and realize the truth. The people they chose over you don't truly care for them. The ones they entertained in your place don't listen like you did, don't support like you did, don't understand them like you did. They mistook your patience for naivety. But now, as they sit in the silence of your absence, they recognize what they lost. They thought you were weak for staying, but now they see that you were strong for walking away. The Bible says in Matthew 10:16, "Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves." God never intended for you to be a doormat. He created you to be kind but not foolish, to love but not tolerate mistreatment. When they mistook your kindness for weakness, they failed the test of loyalty. Have you ever had someone take your kindness for granted? How did it change you? Comment below and share your experience. Your story might help someone else recognize their worth. God has seen how much you gave. He saw how they dismissed your efforts, how they treated your presence as an option, and how they assumed you would always be available. But now, they regret it. They played games, and they lost access to someone who carried peace, wisdom, and real love. And here's the best part. You didn't lose them. They lost you. While they are stuck in regret, you are stepping into the next chapter of your life, where your kindness will be valued, your love will be cherished, and your strength will be honored. If this message resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your kindness is a gift, and one day you will find people who recognize its worth. Stay with me, because the truth about their regret is only beginning to unfold. Let's keep going. Have you ever noticed how some people get uncomfortable when you start stepping into your true power? It's not that you did anything wrong. It's simply that your light exposed their insecurities. Instead of celebrating your growth, they saw you as a threat. They made sarcastic comments, downplayed your achievements, and tried to make you question yourself. Why? Because your success reminded them of everything they weren't willing to confront about themselves. But here's the truth. Real light cannot be dimmed. No amount of gossip, jealousy, or betrayal can put out the fire that God has placed inside of you. John 1:5 says, "The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it." They thought that by excluding you, criticizing you, or trying to overshadow you, they could steal your shine. But instead, they only revealed their own weakness. They wanted you to shrink so they could feel bigger. They wanted you to doubt yourself so they wouldn't have to face their own insecurities. But God didn't create you to fit into their small expectations. Isaiah 61 declares, "Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you." You were meant to shine, to elevate, to walk in divine purpose. Now look at where they are. The same ones who tried to hold you back are stuck in the same cycle while you keep growing. They wanted you to be less so they could feel like more. But you were never meant to live small. And now they regret it. They see you thriving, walking in peace, and stepping into blessings they could have been part of. But they made their choice. Have you ever had someone in your life who tried to dim your light? How did you overcome it? Share your story in the comments. Your testimony might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if this message speaks to you, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Stay connected, because your light is needed and your journey is just beginning. Some people will always choose the easy path, the quick fix, the temporary thrill, because real success requires patience, discipline, and vision. They traded something meaningful for instant gratification, thinking they were making the smart move. They thought that by cutting corners, betraying trust, and choosing convenience over commitment, they would come out on top. But now, they're watching everything they built crumble while you continue to rise. Proverbs 13 verse 11 warns, "Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it." Success that is rushed, that is built on shortcuts, cannot stand the test of time. They didn't want to build with you, to grow with you, or to invest in something lasting. Instead, they chose what was easy, what was flashy, what was right in front of them, never realizing that quick wins fade just as fast as they come. And now, the roles have reversed. The very things they thought would elevate them have turned to dust in their hands. The temporary applause has died down. The excitement of their shortcuts has worn off. And meanwhile, you are thriving, not because you took the easy road, but because you built something real. Galatians 6 verse 9 reminds us, "Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." While they were chasing momentary pleasure, you were planting seeds of greatness. And now, the harvest is coming in your favor. The worst part for them? Watching you win while they're stuck in the consequences of their impatience. They see you standing tall, reaping the rewards of your dedication, while they're left with nothing but regret. They didn't understand that real success isn't about what comes fast. It's about what lasts. Have you ever had someone underestimate you because you chose to take the slow and steady path? How did you prove them wrong? Share your story in the comments. Your testimony can inspire someone else to stay the course. And if this message speaks to you, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Let's keep growing together, because those who build with wisdom will always outlast those who chase quick wins. When someone betrays a chosen one, they don't just lose a person, they lose the divine favor and protection that came with that connection. Many people fail to realize that being connected to a chosen one brings blessings, not just in relationships, but in every aspect of life. You were not in their life by accident. God placed you there as a covering, a source of wisdom, peace, and elevation. But they took that for granted. They thought they could mistreat you, betray you, and still walk in the same favor. They were wrong. Psalm 105:15 declares, "Do not touch my anointed ones, do my prophets no harm." When they betrayed you, they walked out of alignment with the blessings God had placed over their life. And now, they're starting to feel the consequences. Doors that once opened easily for them are closing. The success they once enjoyed is slipping through their fingers. Their relationships are falling apart. They wonder why things aren't flowing like they used to, but deep down they know it's because they lost access to the favor that came with knowing you. God's protection is not random, it is intentional. When you are aligned with Him, He blesses you and those connected to you. But betrayal severs that connection. They thought they could trade loyalty for selfish gain and still prosper. But now, they're realizing that betrayal doesn't just hurt the betrayed, it destroys the betrayer. They chose to walk away from you, but in doing so, they also walked away from divine protection. And here's the reality. They will never experience peace until they acknowledge their disloyalty. Isaiah 59 verse 2 reminds us, "But your iniquities have separated you from your God. Your sins have hidden His face from you, so that He will not hear." Their downfall is not a coincidence, it's a spiritual consequence. Now, while they struggle, you continue to rise. God is elevating you, protecting you, and blessing you in ways they never expected. They may regret what they did, but regret doesn't reverse consequences. The favor they lost cannot be reclaimed simply by wanting it back. Have you ever seen someone lose everything after betraying someone they shouldn't have? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help others recognize the power of divine protection. And if you believe that no weapon formed against you shall prosper, hit like, comment, and subscribe. Let's build a community of faith, strength, and victory, because those who walk in God's favor can never be defeated. Not every connection in life is random. Some people are placed in our lives as tests, opportunities for growth, for transformation, and for elevation. You were that test for them. God positioned you in their life as a blessing, a source of peace, wisdom, and divine favor. But they didn't recognize it. Instead of honoring the connection, they disrespected it. Instead of nurturing it, they took it for granted. Instead of cherishing you, they betrayed you. And now the test they failed is the lesson they must live with. Luke 16:10 reminds us, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much, and whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." They had an opportunity to show faithfulness, but they chose deceit. They had a chance to build something meaningful, but they opted for destruction. Now, the consequences are unfolding, and they are left with nothing but regret. What they don't understand is that failing this test didn't just cost them a relationship, it cost them an entire future of blessings. God was watching how they treated you. He saw the betrayal, the dishonesty, the selfishness, and just like that, they disqualified themselves from the very elevation they were supposed to receive through you. Proverbs 10 verse 9 declares, "Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out." Now, as you continue to rise, they are stuck in the consequences of their choices. They watch from a distance as doors open for you while doors close for them. They see you thriving in ways they never imagined, and they realize they had the answer right in front of them, but they threw it away. Life was testing them to see if they could value something real, and they proved they weren't ready. Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever been the blessing someone didn't recognize until it was too late? Drop your story in the comments. Let others see that they're not alone. And if you know that your value is undeniable, that no betrayal can stop your purpose, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Let's build a community that understands one thing: God doesn't let His chosen ones be discarded without consequence. Some choices echo far beyond the moment they are made. When someone trades a legacy for a fleeting pleasure, they are not just making a poor decision, They are altering their destiny. They had something rare, something meant to last, but they chose what was temporary. Instead of patience, they chose impulse. Instead of wisdom, they chose recklessness. Instead of building something meaningful, they ran after instant gratification. And now, everything they chased has disappeared like smoke, while what they lost can never be replaced. Proverbs 11 verse 3 says, "The integrity of the upright guides them, but the unfaithful are destroyed by their duplicity." They thought they could have it all. They thought they could betray loyalty and still prosper. But what they didn't realize is that when you trade something of eternal value for something temporary, you always end up with nothing. Now they see it clearly. The excitement faded. The distractions lost their sparkle. The cheap thrills vanished, and all that remains is emptiness. Meanwhile, you, the one they underestimated, are rising. You stayed true to your path. You focused on building something real, something that could stand the test of time. And now, they're watching you succeed in ways they never imagined, knowing they could have been part of it if they had chosen wisely. Regret is a heavy burden to carry, and now they have to live with the realization that their decision was final. The doors they walked away from are now locked. The foundation they could have built with you is no longer theirs to claim. Ecclesiastes 5 verse 10 warns us, "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income." They thought chasing pleasure would fulfill them, but instead it left them hollow. Have you ever been in a situation where someone chose temporary distractions over something real? Have you seen people throw away something valuable for something meaningless? Drop your story in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you know that your value cannot be replaced, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Let's remind the world, true worth cannot be traded for temporary pleasure, because real value lasts forever. Some people say they want the truth, but what they really want is comfort. You didn't come into their life to play along with their illusions. You came as a mirror, a reflection of what they could be, if only they had the courage to grow. Your presence made them uncomfortable, not because you did anything wrong, but because your light exposed their darkness. Your confidence highlighted their insecurity. Your discipline revealed their laziness. Your strength reminded them of their weaknesses. And instead of using that reflection to change, they rejected it. They rejected you. John 3:20 tells us, "Everyone who does evil hates the light and will not come into the light for fear that their deeds will be exposed." That's exactly what happened. Rather than facing their flaws, they ran from you. Rather than learning from your wisdom, they distanced themselves. They tried to silence you, ignore you, or even tear you down. All because you reminded them of the greatness they were too afraid to embrace. But now they see the truth. They see you evolving, succeeding, and thriving, while they are stuck in the same place, still battling the same weaknesses they refused to confront. Now they regret it, not just because they lost you, but because they lost the chance to grow alongside you. They realize you weren't a threat, you were a gift. And instead of embracing that, they turned away. Have you ever been rejected just for being yourself? Have you ever had someone walk away from you because they couldn't handle the truth you reflected? Drop your experience in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you know you're done dimming your light to make others comfortable, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Let the world know. Real light cannot be denied, and those who run from truth will one day wish they had embraced it. There was a time when they had a seat at your table, a time when they could have built something incredible alongside you. But they chose a different path. They let their pride, insecurity, and short-sightedness write them out of a story that was meant for them. Now, as you continue to rise, to build, and to walk in your purpose, they stand on the outside looking in, watching a life they could have been a part of, but no longer have access to. Proverbs 13:20 says, "Walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm." The truth is, they didn't realize that by walking away from you, they walked away from their own elevation. They thought they were making a choice about you, but in reality, they made a choice about themselves. And now, that choice has consequences. They see you thriving in ways they never expected. They see you at peace, successful, and surrounded by people who appreciate your worth. And the hardest part, they can't come back. The story has moved forward, and they are stuck in a chapter that no longer fits. They may try to reach out, to reconnect, to fix what they broke, but deep down, they know they don't belong in your life anymore. They forfeited that right when they betrayed, dismissed, or undervalued you. Have you ever had someone who once played a major role in your life become just a distant memory? Have you ever watched someone realize, too late, that they made the wrong choice? Share your experience in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you're ready to embrace the fact that some people were never meant to finish the journey with you, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your story is still being written, and those who didn't value their role no longer have a place in it. The person they once knew no longer exists. The old version of you, the one who was quick to forgive, who overlooked betrayal, who gave endless chances, is gone. You've grown, evolved, and stepped into your power. The wounds they left behind didn't break you, they built you. And now they are facing a painful reality. The door they once walked through so easily is now locked, and they don't have the key. They thought you would always be there. They thought they could return whenever they pleased, expecting the same kindness, the same open arms, the same willingness to repair what they shattered. But you are no longer that person. The lessons you learned changed you, refined you, and made you wiser. You now guard your energy. You recognize your worth. And most importantly, you don't allow people to walk in and out of your life as if you are an option. Isaiah 43:18-19 says, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it?" God has been elevating you, positioning you for something greater, and some people cannot come with you on this journey. Their chapter in your life is over, and no matter how much they regret their choices, they can't rewrite the past. But here's the real struggle for them. They now see what they lost. They see your growth. They see your peace. They see the abundance in your life. And it burns them to know that they once had access to you and your energy. But now, they are just spectators. They are watching from the outside, unable to step into the new season you've entered. Have you ever had someone try to come back after they threw you away? Have you ever felt the power of finally closing a door that should have been shut long ago? Share your experience in the comments. Let's talk about it. And if you know you've outgrown certain people and won't be looking back, hit like, subscribe, and share this message. Your journey forward doesn't include those who didn't value you when they had the chance. Listen carefully. You do not need their validation. You do not need their apologies, their explanations, or their regrets to move forward. Your success was never dependent on their approval. Your destiny was never tied to their presence. If they couldn't recognize your worth when you were right in front of them, then they are not meant to be part of what God is building for you now. Psalm 118:22 says, "The stone the builders rejected has become the cornerstone." That's you. They rejected you, dismissed you, underestimated you, but now you are rising in ways they never imagined. You are thriving without them. You are stepping into your power, into your purpose, and into the blessings God has prepared for you. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been betrayed by someone who didn't see your value? How did it change you? Did it break you, or did it push you to level up? Drop your story in the comments. Someone needs to hear how you turned pain into power. Let's build a community where those who were once overlooked are now standing strong together. If this message resonates with you, hit that like button. Subscribe if you know your journey isn't over, and share this with someone who needs a reminder. Their worth isn't defined by those who walked away. Keep shining, keep growing, and keep moving forward. Because the best part, your greatest chapters are still being written. See you in the next one.